the sphere of Amenti, the halls of Amenti, and the divine plan. Many people think that the halls of Amenti were Thoth's, or that different individuals in the past had their own halls. But in reality, there was only one halls of Amenti, and that was the original one that came from the sphere of Amenti. The halls of Amenti were a set of 5 portals connected to the sphere of Amenti, linking Earth and the sphere of Amenti to different locations of space-time throughout the universe. One being to Terra's past, a time-space location before the cataclysm of Terra, as well as others. The reason for this was that Terra had a cataclysm and had lost a part of its morphogenetic field, as well as lost a number of souls that were part of the cataclysm, which had fragmented their consciousness. So this entire rescue mission was created to save the lost souls of Terra, and all the other consciousness that fell and dropped in vibration from the cataclysmic explosion on Terra, down to Harmonic Universe 1. I will do a video later with the history of Thoth. There is a reason there is a lot of different types of information on that being. It seems that there isn't a centralized point of information regarding the activities and historic events centered around Thoth that is accurate on the planet today. This is just my opinion, but the halls discovered under the Great Pyramid of Giza may or may not be the actual halls of Amenti that I am speaking of, but through my research and intuition, I believe that during the Egyptian period or before, and based on the emerald tablets of Thoth, it seems he had rejuvenation chambers where he had cloned bodies or had grown human bodies for him to transfer his consciousness into once his body began to die or atrophy. He would do this every 100 years. This is how he was able to be incarnated in many lives or to come across as an immortal. I want to make a note that this technology he used was one that the Anunnaki knew about and probably used during the time period to extend their life. That this was not a Creasy, do not believe that this technology was Christic, but to what type of technology it would be, I would not know. I say this because there are spiritual ways to heal the physical body and not have to go through the death process, whether it's during an ascension or not, and not have to use grown or cloned human bodies. It is my belief that the natural process of physical atomic transfiguration of the body, using ascension practices, as well as a lifetime of techniques, spiritual training, activities, and development, can allow a person to transcend death or ascension. This would be the natural way to live eternally without having to deal with death. I can provide a more technical explanation and share the process later in another video. But the halls of Amenti that Thoth talks about in the Emerald Tablets are not the same ones here, and they weren't used for the same purposes. The sphere of Amenti had a blue flame at the center of it, and for people to pass through the portal there, they had to walk through the flame, hence the phrase, the keepers of the blue flame. The blue flame was a set of electrotonal frequencies that made up the core of the sphere of Amenti, which later came 5 additional portals on the outside of the sphere, of which were connected to each cloistered race. Those portals gave access to the souls traversing from Earth back to different time and space locations of Terra before the cataclysm and after, as well as some going to Gaia and other locations so they could continue to evolve. Gaia was Earth's harmonic universe 3 aspect. This is what the sphere of Amenti and the halls of Amenti were for. It was for the rescue mission of the souls of Terra, originally. And initially, the sphere of Amenti holds the secret and hidden purpose of humanity, as well as the morphogenetic imprint of the 12-strand Angelic Human. This is one of the reasons and purposes, as seen in one of my other videos, the Angelic Human, and my other video, the shocking truth about your divine human blueprint for why humanity was created. The purpose of humanity was directly tied to the Ray evolutionary plan for reinstitution and rescue of the lost souls of Terra. As I've grown and studied more in my life, I've come to see other purposes come into fruition via the divine plan of God Source Creator, which is an immaculate plan put in place a long time ago during the creation of the first and second Turaneusiam 12-strand angelic human, where the human being is the divine master race for the universe. Again, as stated in one of my earlier videos, the human being holds the universal template for all things in the universe. The divine plan was created as a fail-safe which allowed for the continuation of evolution for all of creation. Due to the interferences by the dark forces, the Turaneusiam 1 and 2 were created to allow for the continued evolution of any ET races whom were looking at potential extinction or had reached a level of extreme regression and digression of their DNA and evolution. It wasn't just the souls of Terra that had to re-evolve. It was also the planet Terra itself, which was the fifth dimensional higher aspect of Earth, along with many other ET races whom had fallen. This plan is part of an underlying hidden dynamic and purpose for present human evolution. It is part of a larger Turan or Gaian evolutionary plan, which ultimately will lead to all consciousness involved returning to its source. From the sphere of the Amenti, 5 smaller spheres were created, which became the morphogenetic patterns for 5 races known as the cloistered races. Collectively, the 5 cloistered races were called the Palladorians, as they represented the beginning of the fulfillment of the covenant of Pallader. They represented the earthly counterparts to the larger Palladorian group from Harmonic Universe 2. Of the original Turaneusiam 112-strand DNA package, each Palladorian race held the morphogenetic imprint for DNA strands 7 through 12, which held the electrotonal frequencies corresponding to dimensions 7 through 12, plus the imprint for strand 1, and each of the 5 groups carried the imprint for one additional DNA strand corresponding to dimensions 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. The cloisters served as guardians for the evolution of the additional DNA strand to which they were assigned. Each race had 8 strands of DNA manifest within the body structure. The 5 cloistered races did not possess gender, nor did they originally possess the degree of matter density with which you are familiar. Density of form developed over time throughout the course of their evolution on Earth, between 250 million and 25 million years ago. The 5 cloistered races were, in numerical order, your Antrians, brown-skinned strand 2, Granua red-skinned strand 3, Hibiru white-skinned strand 4, Melchizedek's yellow-skinned strand 5, Unicidi black-skinned strand 6. The cloistered races populated the Earth for many generations, creating various racial mixtures through which many of the lost souls of Terra were able to ascend. This period of great civilization became known as the Second World 250 to 25 million years ago within your present Native American cultures. Many of these souls ascended. Those who digressed returned to the sphere Amenti to rebirth on Earth in the particle universe as members of the root races. The first world represented the original Turaneusiam cultures of Terra 560 to 550 million years ago. The Palladorian cloister races left no remnants in your present world, for they evolved within the faster-moving time bands of Earth, within the antiparticle universe. The morphogenetic fields of those races were then drawn into your particle Earth, and out of these came the next evolutionary stage.